Hello and welcome to this short tutorial on how to use Navigo, Winnipeg Transit's online trip planner. So the first thing we'll do is go to the website, winnipegtransit.com. Now you'll note that the first screen that comes up, it allows you to plan a trip that's leaving right away. So it would tell you the next immediate buses that are leaving, and you just type in the address of where you're starting and where you're going to. So this might be from your office to your house, for example, at the end of the day. You would just click submit or hit return. But we're going to go through the steps for planning a trip that leaves the next day or a week later, so sometime in the future. So to plan a trip for another time, you can either click here or go to the Navigo button on the left-hand side of the Winnipeg Transit page. So now let's start typing in the information for the trip that you want to make. Let's say you're starting from Manitoba Infrastructure and Transportation and you want to go to a meeting at the Legislative Building. So we'll start by typing in the address 1700 Portage Avenue. Click submit or hit return, and then we'll type in this case, because the Legislative Building is a major landmark, you can simply type that in, or the address, or the major intersection, say Osborne and Broadway or Memorial and Broadway, and click submit or hit return. And now we'll put in the specific time that you want to arrive by or leave before. Or again, you can choose leave right away. So in this case, let's say that you have a meeting at 10:30 in the morning at the Legislative Building. Now the default value is always AM, but you can toggle back and forth between those two. And in this case, because your meeting starts at 10:30, you want to arrive before. And let's say it's the next day. The calendar will always show you the current day, so you can pick the next day or next week. And the thing to keep in mind with schedules is that Monday through Friday schedules are always the same. So a schedule for a Tuesday, if you know the bus leaves at a certain time on a Tuesday, it will be the same on a Friday. The difference is on the weekends. Saturdays and Sundays each have their own unique schedules. So now you'll click submit or hit return. And Navigo comes back with up to 5 options in terms of your trip. So you'll pick the one that fits your schedule best. So these options, these tabs, you can click on each to get the details. So here's the first one. You click on the second tab, it gives you the detailed times. Now there's a lot of great information provided here, so let's walk through step by step what that is. Taking this first option, it shows that you would leave the building at 1700 Portage Avenue at 9:41, and you would arrive at the Legislative Building at 10:09. So the important thing here to remember is that it's giving you the total trip time, not just the time spent on the bus. So this 28 minutes door to door includes the time spent walking to and from the bus stops, any time spent waiting for buses in a transfer, and the time on the bus itself. In this case, it's only a single bus, so there is 0 shows here for waiting time because you're not making any transfer. That's always an ideal situation if you can find a route that's a single bus. It also tells you that it's a low rider bus, which shows that if you have any mobility issues, that there are no stairs on that bus. It's easy to get on and off. Here's a picture showing a low rider bus, that it can actually be lowered right to sidewalk level. So walking through the details here, it shows that you leave 1700 Portage Avenue at 9:41. You walk 5 minutes, which would get you to the bus stop at 9:46, and it tells you exactly the bus stop sign number to look for when you get there and what the address is. So this 20200, here's a picture of another bus stop. It doesn't actually show that specific one, but the same idea. This is like your older sign, typical sign in a residential area, and you can just glance up at the bus stop sign to make sure you're at the right place. So then the bus is to arrive there at 9:46. Generally speaking, you want to get to the bus stop though 2 or 3 minutes early, just in case the bus comes by early. If it's a major stop, they tend to be on the schedule, but sometimes they'll be a little later, a little earlier, going by just regular street stops. Now this tells you that you're riding the 20-watt Academy route. Now each route can have variations within it, that it goes to a certain area of the city, but then within that area it might take different routes. In this case, it's the 20-watt Academy that goes Watt and Layton. Now you can look for this on the bus, the front of the bus, when it pulls up, to verify that you have the right one. They're typically on different time schedules, so they shouldn't be arriving at the same time. So this shows you, you can see on the front of the bus, this photo, that it's a 16 Osborne. It also shows on the side, and the route number will show on the back of the bus. And this is a digital sign. It will flip over then to give you the specific route on the number 16 that it is, just to confirm that you're on the right one. Now it then tells you that at 10:05, that's when you should arrive at your bus stop where you're going to get off, and it gives you again that bus stop number that you can check on the street sign, and the address. Now you don't really have to worry about checking out the window all the time to see if it's your stop coming up, because the new technology on the buses now, it will show within the bus itself. There's a sign at the front, a digital display, and it will tell you what the next stop coming up is, so that you have time to ring the bell or push the buzzer to get off. There's also an automated announcement for those with visual impairments. So now you get off the bus and walk to the building, and you should be on the steps of the Legislative Building by 10:09. But now this is actually 20 minutes before your meeting, so perhaps that's a little earlier than you would like to arrive. So let's look at some of the other options. So you look at the next one. Oh, okay, that's great. It arrives at 10:27. It does require a transfer. And the thing to keep in mind here is that it only provides a buffer of 2 minutes between the buses, which is a little tight. If the first bus is delayed for any reason because of traffic, etc., then you run the risk of missing your transfer. So let's look at the next option. It only arrives a couple of minutes later, but it provides a 5-minute buffer time between buses. So that feels a little more comfortable. It still gets you to your meeting on time. You would get to the building at 10:29 to run into your meeting. So you can go through all of the different options, just checking the time, walking time, waiting time, number of transfers, just to see which one fits best for you. So now that you've decided on a specific option, in this case we're thinking the third option, you can either jot down the times and the bus stop numbers, or you can print the route. So to print it, and you'll notice that there's the map on the side, you can simply print on the left-hand side, and it shows that you've chosen option 3. And now you can print with or without a map. If it's not really critical, you just simply want to know the text in terms of times, locations, and bus stop numbers and route numbers, then the text version may be sufficient. You simply click print and then finish to take you back to the regular page, because now that you've got your trip there, you also want to plan your return trip. So if you don't have to start over, you can just simply go to the left-hand column and click Plan Return Trip. It will switch things around, so now you're leaving from your place of origin is the Legislative Building, and it's taking you back to 1700 Portage Avenue. If you wanted to go on to another meeting or shopping or another destination, you can simply click on Change Destination, type in a new address, and continue from there. So let's say that you think that your meeting is going to last about an hour. So we'll type in 11:30 a.m. and it's automatically switched to depart after. And it keeps the same day as your original trip. So you click Submit, and it comes back again with up to 5 options. So this one shows a clock with a red slash through it. This actually means that it's provided an option that is slightly earlier or later than what you had specified, but it's just providing you a little buffer in case that fits for your schedule in the end. So you can again go through each option, see what works best. Perhaps option number 4 here, because it gives you a 10-minute buffer, It's only one bus and it's still within similar time, total time for the trip as the other options. Now again, at any time that you want to modify anything that you put into this, either origin or destination where you're starting from or going to, or the time of the trip, or the day, you can simply click Modify Request on the left-hand side of the screen. Or if you want to completely start with a completely new trip, you can simply press or click Start Over. And that is pretty much it. Now you know how to use Navigo, Winnipeg Transit's online trip planner.